आगे बढ़ रहा है।
बिहार जो है सफलताओं में गिना जाएगा।
जो बेरोजगार है उसको रोजगार देने की हम बात करना चाहते हैं।
तो व्यू लाने वाले कौन लोग, किसको लोग सुनना चाहते हैं?
Good morning and welcome everyone. You're watching the special coverage of Bihar Legislative Assembly election result 2025 at the Chronicle. I am Sanjana Giri, and as the results start pouring in, we bring you the most insightful analysis on trends and right here from our studio. But before we go to the live data, let me set the stage. Bihar voted in two different phases, November 6th and November 11th. The total voter turnout was 64.66% in the first phase and 67.14% in the second phase, the highest since the state's first election in 1951, with a women driving the surge in participation. So, the vote counting is going on and we have the live data with us. As of 10 a.m., the NDA seems to have taken an early lead, ahead in around 163 seats, while the Mahagathbandhan is leading in 76 seats. The Jan Swaraj party, meanwhile, is showing lead in one seat. So, we have with us our data anchor, Mr. Akshat Jain, who has been tracking the live counting as they go on, as they come in. So, before that, let's bring in our panel. We have Ms. Shirley Singh and Mr. Tanay Iyer.
Namaste.
So let's come to our discussion, because this election was fought on a multiple narrative, and among all the major debate was around MY factor, महिला का चुनाव या फिर युवा का चुनाव. On one hand, Nitish Kumar government announced direct cash transfer of 10,000 for women and an attempt to solidify the Ladli Behna style welfare. On the other hand, the Tejasvi Yadav and Mahagathbandhan campaigned aggressively on the promise of employment, saying Rozgar do, varna Bihar chhod do. So the question is, which narrative will finally resonate? Will it be the Sarkari Sahayata or the Rozgari revolution? I want to know the perspectives of our panel. So, Mr. Tanay, the question is to you. So, how the exit poll predicted it is happening like that only, the NDA is leading. So what went right for the NDA? What do you think?
So, as you can see, as the polls are leading by the NDA alliance are leading with an economic driven approach. Rather than offering idealistic solutions, they are offering an economic solution. And there are multiple factors behind that reason. You can see infrastructure development promises by the NDA alliance, which has led to landslide in votes for them. Then future promises also in the manifesto mentioned 7 new expressways. About 3,600 kilometers of expressways have been promised by the NDA, and a 6-lane elevated corridor has also been promised by the NDA. And the interstate connectivity and regional development has also improved, which has also led to a major vote turnout for them. And when it comes to employment and skill development, over 8 lakh youth have gained government jobs, and the women have been given rupees 10,000 as an election promise by the NDA.
So these are the interesting points, but the early trend does not always tell the full story. So now, beyond the promises and projection, the Bihar's voters have a long memories. So this election is not just about who wins, it's also a report card on the governance. So Ms. Shirley, you tell me, given that the RJD currently holds 54 seats, and can we say that these parties among the MZB are the coalition's weak party?
So yes and no, Sanjana. In my opinion, like if we look at Mahagathbandhan's situation right now, RJD is performing way better than the other parties, but also RJD is supposed to have a very strong presence in the state of Bihar in comparison to other parties. However, by the look of the projections, even RJD is not performing as good as it was initially projecting. We can see that the seats, the difference between NDA and Mahagathbandhan is very large. So in my opinion, it's not just about RJD being a stronger party and the other party being weak links. It's about how Mahagathbandhan is overall as a coalition failing to perform.
That's an important point, and today we are going to know नया कौन लाएगा बिहार को नए मोड़ में, कौन बदलेगा बिहार को सच में. So let's quickly cut it across to our data anchor, Mr. Akshat Jain, who has been tracking the live counts, live votes. Okay, Akshat, so tell us which way these early trends are swinging. So who is leading and how close is the fight?
Sure. Namaste everyone. We are here at the data studio of the Chronicle and we're talking about the state of Bihar. The election vote counting has just begun. The voting was done in 2 rounds as mentioned earlier on 6th and 11th of November. And we are looking at the trends of 10:40 a.m. as of now. Currently, the NDA is leading with 175 seats and the MGB is currently at 63 seats right now. JSP has yet not opened their seat count, which is the Jan Swaraj Party of Prashant Kishore, and others are currently at 5. These are the trends of 10:40 a.m. As of now, Sanjana, and let's try to break down let's take a deep dive and breakdown of individual party vote count, and let's see what the trends have become different from the previous time of the elections. Talking about RJD, this was the party that was leading previously in the Bihar elections, and now they have become a lesser vote count party, whereas JDU in fact has revived itself completely, taking about 77 seats of the vote share, mainly becoming not the second most voted party or a supporting junior party, but actually the leading party along with BJP at 75. JSP is yet to open their seat count as we discussed earlier, and INC is currently at a total of 12 seats. So these are the trends as of now. We are following the trends continuously, and we'll be getting back to you with more seats count as they come along. That is it from my side. Back to the studio.
The latest number shows the NDA is still maintaining its edge. So the lead has now widened slightly. Let's decode what's working for them. So Mr. Tanay, you tell me, the NDA campaign that earlier they revolved around the stability and experience, but the youth in Bihar, they have been very restless over jobs. So how do you think NDA managed to retain their trust despite this discontent?
So the thing is, the youth have observed the NDA's performance in other states. So that has put the faith in the NDA government that the employment will be assured, which led to the youth, the NDA retaining trust of the youth. And the youth aren't choosing between jobs and stabilities. They are saying we desperately want jobs. We vote for whoever appears most capable of building governance foundations that eventually enable jobs. This represents a rational voter behavior under the structural constructs. Unemployment is structural. So youth votes for parties are likely to execute governance competently. That is why, looking at the other reasons as well and the performance of the NDA in other states, the youth has retained their trust in the NDA.
I would also like to add to Tanay's point as to relying on the past promises of NDA and whether they have fulfilled them. So they promised skill development centers in all districts. This was a promise made by NDA, and it is a mission that actually took off. It launched, and at least 30% centers are fully functional, were fully functional as per the data in 2024. Whereas RJD promising 1 job per family did not really ever make an impact when they did so. So NDA has been at least partially fulfilling their promises that still fuel some faith in their coalition.
Okay, so let me come to the Jan Swaraj party, as it is not gaining a seat as we expected. So Prashant Kishore, let's talk about him. The Prashant Kishore Jan Swaraj party, the most talked about the debut that was supposed to bring a new political grammar to Bihar. But as the numbers show, the party has not able to manage to open its account yet. So Shelly, you tell me, if Nitish Kumar leadership is under scrutiny, yet this party is gaining, what does that say that voter sentiment and BJP continues backing up him as a chief minister?
So I'll address about the Jan Swaraj party first. So Jan Swaraj party is a relatively new party. And as we know, we don't immediately, like the people of Bihar wouldn't immediately rely on just promises. They want to see some performance in the start. So obviously people are a bit reluctant to vote. Plus Bihar is very driven on the basis of identity. Everyone is interested in the interests of their community first rather than interest of Bihar as a whole. So people are heavily voting on those bases. Whoever will fulfill the interest of their community or their personal interest more gets their vote. So that's why I feel Jan Swaraj needs some time to take off as a party, although their approach seems to be very clean and very good. It mostly touched the interest of relatively upper caste society of Bihar. That's why I feel like Jan Swaraj needs some more time as a party. Now coming back to Nitish Kumar, so BJP continues backing up Nitish Kumar because removing Nitish Kumar immediately would just heavily discredit his party. So whether Nitish Kumar will be the chief minister or not will be seen later. So for now, while the elections are going on, he is not to be removed because that would just dishevel the whole standhold of his party. So overall, I feel like in a coalition, it's working for now, but I don't feel like Nitish Kumar is the only stronghold. I feel like the party as a whole is the bigger driving factor than Nitish Kumar himself.
All right, so these are the interesting points. So right now we have a journalist from Bihar who will be joining us, Mr. Viswajit Kumar. What is your analysis on the trend that is going on right now?
First of all, thank you so much for inviting me. और जब आप बिहार को देखते हैं तो बिहार में एक आपने महारानी अगर वेब सीरीज है, बहुत ही फेमस वेब सीरीज, आपने उसको देखा होगा तो उसमें बहुत बढ़िया डायलॉग है कि जब आपको लगता है कि आपने बिहार को समझ लिया है, बिहार आपको तब झटका देता है। तो बिहार की राजनीति भी इसी के आसपास घूमता है। आप देख लीजिए, पहले आप जब एनालिसिस की बात करते हैं सबसे पहले पार्टियों के जो मुद्दे हैं उनको देखते हैं। सबसे पहले बात अगर करते हैं तो बिहार में जेंडर पॉलिटिक्स की शुरुआत और किसी को कहा जाए नीतीश कुमार ने किया। नीतीश कुमार का जेंडर पॉलिटिक्स में क्यों कह रहा हूँ इसको समझिए। जो टोटल वोटिंग हुआ है 3.5 करोड़ लोगों ने वोट किया है और सबसे अधिक वोट करने वाले लोग कौन है? महिलाओं ने वोट किया है। और नीतीश कुमार जी का जो आखिरी के महीने में जब चुनाव होने थे और उससे ठीक पहले 1 महीने के भीतर जो जिन योजनाओं को उन्होंने घोषणा किया उससे उन्होंने ज्यादातर लोगों को टारगेट कर लिया, चाहे वो महिला हो, चाहे वो फर्स्ट टाइम वोटर्स हो और या ओवरऑल जो उनके कोर वोटर्स हैं वो तो है। तो नीतीश कुमार की जो पूरी पॉलिटिक्स है वो महिला 35% आरक्षण की बात हो या फिर आप बात करें कि उनके लिए जो है बच्चियों को जो 10th में पढ़ती हैं, 12th में पढ़ती हैं, ग्रेजुएशन में पढ़ती है, उनके लिए 10,000, 20,000 और 50,000 रुपए देने की बात हो। तो उन्होंने छोटे छोटे टारगेट्स बनाकर सबको टारगेट किया ताकि उनके जो वोटर्स हैं, पूर्ण वोटर्स, वो महिला बन जाए उनकी जाति के वोट के अलावा। उसके बाद अगर आरजेडी की बात करें तो तेजस्वी यादव ने जिन मुद्दों को पकड़ा उनमें सबसे बड़ी बात रोजगार। और रोजगार आपको पता है कि बिहार में बड़ी इंडस्ट्रीज नहीं है, इसलिए रोजगार एक बहुत बड़ा फैक्टर होता है। सरकारी नौकरी की लोग तैयारी करते हैं तो उन्होंने उसको एक बड़ा मुद्दा बनाया। वही जन स्वराज पार्टी की बात करें तो जन स्वराज के प्रशांत किशोर, उन्होंने सबसे बड़ा मुद्दा बनाया पलायन। उन्होंने कहा कि 2-3 करोड़ के लोग आसपास जो है बिहार से बाहर रहते हैं। अब टोटल वोटिंग परसेंटेज हुआ 3.5 करोड़, 3 करोड़ 51 लाख के आसपास हुआ वोटिंग हुआ। अब इन मामलों के बावजूद मुझे लगता है कि सबसे ज्यादा जब ग्राउंड पे घूम रहा था तो एक हमारी तरफ एक कहावत है कि चुप्पा वोटर होता है। मतलब वो कह रहा है कि आपके सामने आके कह रहा है कि आपको वोट देंगे, किसी और के सामने कह रहा है कि मैं आप ही को दे रहा हूँ वोट। तो ये कंफ्यूजन पैदा इस तरह से हुई कि लोगों ने कहा कि भैया अब तो आरजेडी की सरकार बन रही है, एनडीए तो बहुत पीछे रह गया है, एंटी इनकम्बेंसी फैक्टर बन गया है और ऐसा कुछ होता हुआ फिलहाल तो नहीं दिख रहा है अभी जब ट्रेंड्स को हम देखते हैं। लेकिन अगर हम लोग शुरुआती ट्रेंड्स को देखकर डिसाइड कर लें कि किसी एक की सरकार बन रही है, ये भी बहुत मुश्किल है क्योंकि अभी 20 से 25 राउंड अभी वोटिंग का जो काउंटिंग है होना बाकी है। तो मुझे लगता है कि ओवरऑल जो चुनाव का वो रहने वाला है, रिजल्ट रहने वाला है, वो थोड़े बहुत सीट के अंतर से मतलब कि चुनाव की जीत हार होगी, चाहे वो महागठबंधन की हो या एनडीए की हो। क्योंकि मुझे 2020 का चुनाव याद है और ऐसे ही हम लोग पहले डिस्कशन में बैठे हुए थे और जो पूरा मामला था वो पलटा हुआ था। लग रहा था कि तेजस्वी यादव मुख्यमंत्री बनने ही वाले हैं, लेकिन बहुत ऐसा मतलब कि ऐसे मामले सामने आए जिसमें ये कहा गया कि 300 वोट से, 400 वोट से, 500 वोट से जो उनके कैंडिडेट हैं वो हार गए। तो अभी ट्रेंड्स है, अभी ये तय कर पाना बहुत मुश्किल है कि किसकी सरकार बन रही है।
Thank you so much, Vishwajit Yadav sir, for joining us. So, as you said, we can't rely on the early train that we are getting right now. So, let's cut it back to Akshat. So, we know the numbers are changing very fast. So, that's why I came back to you. So, tell me, give us the latest update on the counting trends. So what's the bigger picture, current picture that
Talking about the trends of 10:50 a.m. as of now, the NDA is currently at 181 seats, which is a landslide as compared to the previous election number, where it was still a very neck-to-neck fight between NDA and MGB. MGB is currently at 57, which is even more lesser than the predicted exit poll, and the Jan Swaraj Party is yet to open their count, whereas the others sit at 5 vote seats as of now. Let's talk about the regions of Bihar that we can largely look at, the 5 main regions where we can divide Bihar into to understand how the voter count is getting shifted. Firstly, we have the central Bihar region, then we have Saran and Champaran. Other than that, there is the Kosi Himachal region where Congress usually has a dominance over the last few years. Then we have Kosi Anga, and finally Mithila, which is considered to be the cultural hub of Bihar and known for its cultural relevance. Talking about the constituency of Raghavpur, first of all, we have Tejasvi Yadav from RJD, who's leading in this constituency with 916 votes. This is still a few early rounds of votes, so the seat is currently at a slow start. Although this is the family bastion of Tejasvi Yadav, and this is the caveat of this place is that this is the place that he's been winning previously as well. Moving ahead with the next constituency, we have Tej Pratap Yadav, who is currently trailing in the Mahua constituency with about 8,801 votes. He is from the JJD, which is the Jan Shakti Janta Dal. Due to some internal conflicts and internal problems, he was expelled from his family in a way where he had to now start his own party and start competing with his JJD party now in the constituency of Mahua. And finally, talking about the third constituency of Tarapur, we have Samrat Chaudhary, who is leading for BJP here with about 1,339 votes. And these are the trends as of now. We're getting more data. The votes are shifting. The count is still coming in, and I'll be getting back to you with some more data in some while. This is it from my side. Back to the studio.
All right, thank you, Akshat. So we can see NDA continues to hold its ground, and Shelly, let me come back to you again. So I want to discuss this topic. Women turnout in Bihar this time broke all records, over 74% in phase 2. Yet the same state ranked second highest in the India for the crimes against women. More than 28,000 complaints in 2023 alone. And inside the assembly, only 26 out of 243 MLAs we can see are the women. So, Ms. Shelly, so while the NDA celebrates this lead, do you think this could be a bigger, there could be a bigger and the long-term plan for NDA to have a larger representation of women in the legislative assembly?
So yes, I feel like NDA overall has been focusing on women empowerment and overall bringing women up. If you look at the promises they have made before, there was 50% representation for women in panchayats, right? And it was implemented and sustained since 2016. There was the bicycle and uniform scheme for girls, and it was widely successful throughout Bihar. There are loans, self-help groups which helped over 10 lakh women. There are safety through better policing and helplines. It has overall improved, but we still see that there is still the biggest lack of implementation in Bihar is the social justice aspect. There is still a significant rise in crime rate across Bihar, which we will see as NDA continues to tackle if they become, if they administer Bihar after the current elections. But overall, NDA has put a strong position and a strong hold regarding empowering women overall.
Okay, so keeping this Mahila factor aside, let me add another point to it. If we look at the development promises, the pictures does not always look very different. In Motihari, the Prime Minister promised in 2014 that he would come back and drink tea from the sugar produced by the Motihari sugar mill. And 11 years later, the mill has not opened. So what do you have to say on this?
So, yes, you pointed out very rightly that even though they made a lot of promises before, like big promises like AIIMS in Darbhanga and metro projects in Patna and Gaya and so on and so forth, they have not been implemented, or the implementation has started, but it has barely made it out of the way, out of the stepping stone. And I would attribute it to poor communication between the lead in the government, the fact that Nitish Kumar was governing the state, because as a matter of fact, like AIIMS Darbhanga was announced twice, but because of the failure of communication between the center and the state, there was a land dispute. It never really made any progress. Then metro projects in Patna and Gaya, they are still in phase 1 of construction, despite it being years ago. It's not a matter of initiation, it's a matter of execution, is what I feel.
Mr. Tanay, do you have to say anything on it?
So when it comes to the women empowerment by the NDA, the promises have been made, but the opposition party have questioned the timing and intent of the scheme. And another criticism by the opposition party was whether rupees 10,000 can generate employment in rural areas. Many schemes like this have been implemented, but it leads to unconditional transfer of cash rather than genuine skill development for employment of women and the youth.
So let's talk about MZV also right now. So Mahagathbandhan, we can say it's been catching up. So India Alliance said that within its 20 days in power, it ensured that one member of every family in the state will get the government job. The BJP had dismissed it as a cruel joke, saying it would not cost a 29 lakh crore a year, almost 10 times, which is bigger than the Bihar budget. But looking at the current lead, it seems that promise has not just been rejected by the people. So this question is open to both of you. So seeing this, isn't it very ironic? Like Bihar is known for producing some of the India's sharpest mind in mathematics and civil service, but seeing this calculation, don't you think the youth are choosing identity-driven politics rather than the practicality?
So to answer your first question, right, I feel like it is a promise made that is very empty-ended. They have no resource or data that they can back up their execution. There is no solid plan. So it was, I feel like it was a very unplanned statement made on their behalf that is going to lead to nothing, because it's not tangible. It's not possible for the Bihar government to carry on all of their other schemes and this promise they made at the same time. There is no backing to this, and I don't see why people should rely on that as a basis for them to vote. Whereas falling back to your identity-driven statement, yes, Bihar is known for producing a lot of sharp intellect, but matter of fact is Bihar is also driven on identity-based communities, caste-based communities. So obviously each community wants betterment for themselves, development for themselves, and as we see, there are often issues with execution. So obviously the party that will be governing Bihar will obviously favor certain communities, and those communities that feel like this party sees us more, represents us more, people will continue to vote for them. So this will not change until the parties will focus on execution rather than just laying the foundation stone, and identity-driven politics will not leave Bihar until then.
Okay, so today we will get the result. Today we will see what the Bihar has chosen, Mahila factor or Yuva factor, and how they are seeing the future of Bihar. But before that, let's see the trend. Let's cut it to the Akshat. Akshat, so tell us, what is the trend right now?
Sure, Sanjana. So we are looking at initial trends as of now, and this is the data as of 11 a.m. NDA is currently at 180 seats, and MGB is currently sitting at 58 seats. As mentioned earlier as well, JSP is yet to open their count, and the others are currently occupying 5 seats in total. Moving ahead, we will first talk about the constituency of Alinagar, which is where Maithili Thakur is currently leading for BJP with a total vote count of 4,573 votes. Maithili Thakur has been already in the news for being a very famous singer and getting the ticket from BJP this time, and she is also leading in the constituency of Alinagar. Moving ahead, we'll be talking about Anand Singh, who leads in Mokamma with 11,055 votes for the JDU party. Anand Singh is currently leading in this constituency with a great share of votes. Although these are still initial trends and the vote count still seems to be interesting, another important fact that I want our audience to know about is how Bihar has created history this time for the first time of clocking in of about 67.19% of total vote count that has turned up, which has been historic in his complete history of all the time. This is the highest number of vote count that has come up till date. And moving ahead, we'll be talking about the next constituency, which is of Lakhisarai, which currently has 788 votes, where we have Vijay Kumar Sinha leading for the BJP. So those are the trends as of now. We'll be getting back with some more data as soon as possible. Stay tuned. Back to the studio. Thank you.
So let's talk about the Mithilanchal right now. We saw Maithili Thakur is leading in Alinagar, seeing the women's safety and representation issues among the marginalized cross-border communities there. So does the women turnout in those regions reflect the optimism or dispersion, since the opportunities are still very limited?
I feel yes, it does reflect optimism, considering the schemes that have been granted overall. The schemes have proven to be very effective. Hence, and as we see, the representation of women is clearly improving as the reservation scheme in the Indian politics has clearly worked. The people are clearly voting. There are leading candidates that are women. So yes, I feel like overall it's looking quite optimistic.
If the Jan Swaraj party could have mentioned some freebies in their manifesto, then there could have been some, a grassroots driven strategy that audience could finally find.
I'm not sure about the freebies, because Jan Swaraj is very heavily anti-corruption. That is their whole point of view. They aim to bring anti-corruption and a clean slate to Bihar's politics. So I feel like their standpoint as a party would not be that significant if they resorted to that, because their entire identity as a party would not make sense at all. So yes, so no, mentioning freebies, I didn't think it would have worked for them. It's purely Bihar is in a turbulent state. So right now is genuinely a hard time for any party to kickstart with this kind of an approach. So I feel all this party needs is an opportunity and some time.
So interesting points are coming and interesting numbers are coming as well. The trends are moving steadily, rising leads are in some pockets and the close margins in others. Our panelists have helped us understand what this shift means for the alliances and for the Bihar's political future. We will pause here our conversation for the moment. Join us after a break.
MGB wins, the CM will be Tejasvi Yadav. If NDA wins, it will be Nitish Kumar.
तो मिल करके बिहार बहुत आगे बढ़ रहा है.
बिहार जो है सफलताओं में गिना जाएगा.
और जो बेरोजगार है उसको रोजगार देने की हम बात करना चाहते हैं.
तो व्यू लाने वाले कौन लोग, किसको लोग सुनना चाहते हैं?
Welcome back to the Chronicle. I am Rishit Bhattacharya. As we are currently watching the Bihar polls add up, we'll give you a quick recap of what happened till now. The panels have talked about NDA and the India manifestos, the Prashant Kishore's Jan Suraj party, and the BJP and RJD's claims that hasn't been materialized as of now. If MGB wins, the CM of Bihar will be Tejasvi Yadav, and if NDA wins, it will be Nitish Kumar. Till now, the exit polls stand correct, as NDA is leading comfortably over MGB. But the tables can turn anytime. We will bring you the live updates of the results through our data anchor Mr. Akshat Jain. But before that, political experts Ms. Radhika, Ms. Amanda, and Mr. Jyotirmay are joining us in our studio. On the same line from which the panel discontinued, so what went wrong for the MGB and what went right for BJP?
Well, I think what went wrong for BJP-led NDA was that they appealed out to the urban population of Bihar, the population that wanted industrial development and urbanization further in Bihar. And while they sort of ignored the rural population and they focused further on women empowerment and appealed to the female voters and conservatives of Bihar. So I think that's what went right for them. Whereas MGB, they focused more on the vote chori scam and the rural problems that furthered their initiative, which was also social justice. But I don't think that got them the masses vote.
Yeah, I think the voters sort of are looking for developments. They're focusing on developments, and we can say this with good probability that caste-based loyalty is no longer an absolute, which could have proven wrong for BJP and JDU. But as of now, they seem to be still doing well. But we know that voters are looking for employment opportunities, governance quality. They're looking for visible improvements in infrastructure. Additionally, they also want to focus on bringing back Biharis who have had to migrate outside to get jobs, which is linked with improving job opportunities in the state.
See, one needs to understand that at any given point, what the people of a state desire is at the topmost priority is stability. So whether it be the youth of Bihar, whether it be the women, men who are continuously working and they are trying their best, whatever they can contribute to the state, they believe whatever coalition which is being provided by the NDA, the promises put up by the NDA, they believe that NDA has been something that's gotten development over different states. It's a party that has brought changes across various states, various divisions of the country. So it's by far obvious because people want change in Bihar. People want that the situation of crime, the situation of unemployment, topics like migration, all of these things needs to be at any given point of time change. So yes, as per the current trends, I would say NDA is leading because Bihar wants change.
Yeah.
So that's a very impressive start to the show. But before we continue, we will cut to our data anchor, Mr. Akshat Jain, to bring us a live update.
Yes, before we talk about the latest trends, there's a video, a small clipping that I want to show everyone. These are the scenes from Bihar right now. जैसा कि देख सकते हैं, खुशी फूले नहीं समा रही है. And I think Nitish Kumar is there for moral support, although he hasn't fought the election this time. But these are scenes from Bihar right at this moment. Now talking about something which is the trends of 11:40 a.m. as of now. We have NDA, which is currently at 191 seats, and MGB, which is at 48 seats. The JSP, which is the Jan Swaraj Party, yet to open their account, and others are currently at 4 seats. Talking about the NDA has broken their previous record from 2020 of securing 189 seats, and in the very initial round, they are currently sitting at 191 seats. We have a breaking coming in, which is about the constituency of Raghopur, which is the family bastion for Tejasvi Yadav. Here in Raghopur, he's trailing with about 3,016 votes, which is very interesting to look at. We talked about him actually leading with about 900 votes in the initial 2 rounds, and by the 4th round here, he's currently trailing in the constituency of Raghopur. And moving ahead, let's talk about the vote share and how does it look like as of 11:40 a.m. Here, Rishit, we are looking at a total vote count of a total number of constituency here in Bihar are 243, whereas currently right now RJD is around 22 to 23%. The weak link here is actually Indian National Congress for their alliance. The Mahagathbandhan is actually lacking behind because the Indian National Congress is still in the single-digit number of percentage, whereas BJP is somewhere around the similar percentage they had previously in the 2020 election. They were around 24% last time, and we currently are looking at 22.3% for BJP right now. What is interesting to look at is JDU's percentage as well, as it is gradually increasing. So these are the data as of now. The trends are continuously changing. I'll be back with some more data coming soon. That is it from my side. Back to the studio. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshat. And now back to the panel.
Coming back to what we were discussing earlier, in fact, there was ground reports done in Fulvaria Gopalganj, which is actually Lalu Prasad Yadav's village. And speaking to the people of the village, most of them had to say, most of them were quite caste-based and caste-lenient and were lenient towards RJD's Lalu Prasad Yadav, declaring their loyalty towards him. But when reporters moved towards the borders of the district, the citizens had differently to say. They did speak about how that if they are not seeing any developments or any changes done to their district by Lalu Prasad Yadav, they don't feel the need to vote for him. Now, when you move beyond the boundaries of the village, you see that people are moving away from caste-based loyalty as well and are looking towards development and are focusing more on development than just going off blind loyalty.
Okay, so that's a very impressive answer. And so coming back to our discussion, Bihar has seen the highest voter turnout since 1951. So, do you think that the SIR impacted this?
So, again, there are two perspectives to your question. Firstly, SIR, when we talk in regards to Congress perspective, the RJD-led alliance, Mahagathbandhan, they are off to blames that SIR is the reason that they're lagging behind. On the other hand, I would rather call it Bihar is not just a state which would be community based, which would be community led anymore. Bihar is changing. People of Bihar want their decisions to be taken by themselves on the basis of righteous facts and not just the mere coincidence of surnames. And this is something that's gonna be a stepping milestone for the state of Bihar and the country as well. For all those states who have been behind these social pathogens and cannot recover, it'll be an example for them how Bihar turned up. And now, an important link to all of this is what the government actually brings on table. NDA getting this sort of a support, leading it to victory way better than it was in the 2020 elections. What needs to be seen is what does NDA leads to be? How does the execution works on all these manifesto promises?
Looking specifically at the SIR, following SIR, there was a removal of almost 70,000? Oh. How many votes?
72.
Almost
70,
near to 70.
approximately 70.
Approximately 70.
Yeah, so with that many voters removed from the roll, and we have quotes which I can cite Reuters, where a woman stated that after the SIR was conducted, they declared her dead. She's well and alive, they declared her dead. So yeah, I mean, that's obviously a blaring red flag over there. But voter turnout has not just improved in this assembly election season. In 2020 as well, 60% of women electors voted compared to 54%, compared to this time which is 71.6% for women and 62.8% for men. It is an improvement, but I don't know if you can directly compare that with SIR.
I feel like even if we don't compare it directly with SIR and link it to it, it is also because of the promises made and the previous government's actions towards liquor bans, even educational incentives and freebies. Because after all, we have seen that especially in states like Bihar, women and the underprivileged population, they aim for financial and independence and development. So when you hit the right spot, they are gonna vote for you. There is gonna be a turnout. But the actual question is, will this be implemented?
Exactly.
Because people are now voting on implementation and not obligation anymore.
Okay, so before we go on, we have a journalist from Bihar. His name is Vishwajit Kumar, and he will be joining us online. So, firstly, I want to ask you that what is the reason behind Tejasvi Yadav trailing? We have seen him leading in his family bastion of Raghopur. So, what's the reason that he is now trailing by more than almost 3,000 votes?
मुझे लगता है कि तेजस्वी प्रसाद यादव, खैर फिलहाल मैं देख रहा था इलेक्शन कमीशन का वेबसाइट देख रहा था मैं, वहाँ पे अभी जो काउंटिंग हुई है 20-25 राउंड काउंटिंग होना अभी बाकी है। आप कहीं 3 राउंड, कहीं 2 राउंड, कहीं 5 राउंड वही काउंटिंग हुई है। तो अभी ये कह पाना बहुत मुश्किल है कि कोई फेल कर रहा है या कोई बहुत पीछे पिछड़ गया है, क्योंकि पिछली बार के चुनाव के जब रिजल्ट को देखते हैं तो ऐसे ही हुआ था कि रात के 8 बजे तक काउंटिंग चलता रहा था। एक बात। दूसरी बात, अगर तेजस्वी यादव के पिछड़ने की बात अगर आप करते हैं तो अगर 1 घंटे 1-2 घंटे के बाद अगर हम इस पर बात करें तो ज़्यादा अच्छा होगा। लेकिन अगर आप बात करते हैं तो मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं नीतीश कुमार का जो उद्देश्य था कि महिला वोटर को अपने पक्ष में करना, या जो बूढ़े लोग हैं, जो ब्रॉड हैं, उनको अपने पक्ष में करना, कहीं ना कहीं वो सक्सेसफुल होते हुए दिख रहे हैं। क्योंकि जब आप उनके पिछले एक महीने के उनके क्रियाकलाप को देखिए और जिस तरह से उन्होंने जो योजनाओं की घोषणा की, चाहे मानदेय बढ़ाने की बात हो या फिर महिलाओं के खाते में 10-10 हज़ार रुपये भेजने की बात हो, तो ये कहीं ना कहीं वो सक्सेसफुल होते हुए दिखते हैं। क्योंकि 3.5 करोड़ लोगों ने वोट किया इस बार, सबसे अधिक महिलाओं ने वोट किया, और तो और 1 करोड़ से ज्यादा महिलाओं के खाते में 10,000 रुपये डाले गए। तो उन्होंने काम तो उन्होंने ऑफिशियली किया, एक्स्ट्रा उनको मिला है। तो मुझे लग रहा है कि कहीं ना कहीं इस कारण से तेजस्वी प्रसाद यादव पिछड़ रहे हैं। और साथ में एक कारण और भी उसका हो सकता है, क्योंकि उनके जो पिताजी का कार्यकाल था 1990 के आसपास से लेकर 2005 तक जो कार्यकाल रहा है, उसमें एक आरोप लगता रहा कि उनके कार्यकाल में क्राइम बहुत बढ़ा। तो और उनके पोषित लोग थे या उनके ही लोग थे, उनसे संयुक्त होकर काम किया। तो कहीं ना कहीं एक फैक्टर ये भी हो सकता है कि तेजस्वी प्रसाद यादव इसमें पिछड़ते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं।
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful insight, and we will be coming back to the panel discussion. So, as Vishwajit sir mentioned that 10,000 rupees is being deposited. So, coming to that distribution of freebies, Mr. Modi, while in his election campaigns, always said, "I am against the distribution of freebies, which is called as bravery culture." So, why is this contradicting action? Why is he contradicting his own statement and his own action when the election is in Bihar?
Because that's what the trend is. Because when you give a statement and then you slag behind, you are bound to follow into that. I mean, not call it a trend, but something else, like hypocrisy. But the actual truth is, this is what India's politics today is. This is the shape that it's taken today. This is what the voters want to some extent. If you don't give them financial, fiscal incentives, then they are least bound to vote for you.
Plus, you need to understand a very bigger part of this. These are freebies in terms of the government handing them out for votes. When you look at them for the people's perspective, you understand these are their necessities. Yeah. In a state like Bihar, a woman getting 10,000 rupees means a lot. A woman and a household getting LPG cylinder means a lot. A household getting a cycle means a lot. So when you understand all of this, this is a two-way road. One way taking us to the fact that, all of this might be a hunt for vote. While at the same time, this might be an initiative towards bringing out the better good. So judging them for freebies is again different, but yeah, again I'd
like to disagree with you there a little bit, because if you give the incentive first and before the election, this is a pre-election tactic. If you promise it and then you deliver, then you actually engage in what you've promised, then it's a development.
That, Amanda and Radhika, that was a very critical take on the NDA. But Jyotirmay though tried to neutralize that. But before we continue this discussion, we will again cut to Akshat.
We are here with the latest trends right now, and the current trends as of 11:55 a.m. are these that you can see. NDA is currently leading with 191 seats, and MGB is currently trailing with about 48 seats that we have seen before as well. The JSP, which is the Jan Swaraj Party, is yet to open their account, and the others are currently at a vote count of 4. So, first talking about the constituency of Mahua, it's very interesting to see that Tej Pratap Yadav of JJD is trailing by about 13,501 votes in this constituency, and his brother Tejasvi Yadav also is trailing in the constituency of Raghopur, as we discussed earlier. Moving ahead, we are going to talk about the constituency of Alinagar, where we have Maithili Thakur from BJP leading in this constituency with about 8,544 votes. About Maithili, the most famous statement that has been going around with her was that she wants to rename Alinagar constituency as Sita Nagar, and that is the only thing that we've been hearing as of now. But the people seem to believe it, and she's currently leading in this constituency for BJP. Moving ahead, we are talking about the constituency of Patna Sahib. We have Shashank Shekhar, who is currently trailing in this constituency for Indian National Congress with about 12,247 votes. What is interesting to look at is that in the real time, we have also had Ashok Gehlot, who is the former Chief Minister of Rajasthan, giving a statement that there is a disappointment regarding these trends that are coming in, and it seems to be as if the NDA has distributed a lot of money with these trends that are coming in, and those are the trends right now, but they're continuously changing. We'll be back with some more updates as soon as possible. That is it from my side. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Akshat. Coming back, I wanted to ask, now coming to Tejasvi Yadav, like if his party forms the government, he has promised one government job to each family. And Bihar is already lagging in the employment rate in India. So, what do you think? From where are these jobs going to come that he has promised?
Again, two things to this. First of all, Bihar does not have that sort of government jobs to provide it to everyone firsthand. Secondly, the state is already in debt. How are you actually going to source out the money to pay their salaries? And more importantly, promises of such sort by both NDA and Mahagathbandhan need to be way more defined, need to come across as a statement which carries basis. And NDA taking the lead, Nitish Kumar forming the government, what needs to be coming out of the government at this point of time is a plan of action, a blueprint for the next 5 years, rather than the contemplation of, oh, their manifesto is not good, we did better.
Present the evidence, yeah. I mean, Congress leaders are starting to speak up, saying that, that NDA is leading because of the promises that they were made or because the money that they distributed. And the same is coming from JSP as well. There are leaders from JSP who are saying that, we are not leading because we did not give money, or we do not have the resources to give money and give freebies such as this. So these are points that have to be noted. They are speaking on these points, but then you also have to speak on the point that whether these promises can be met, whether these freebies can continue as long as they are still in the ruling party.
Coming to the Bhagalpur land grant, which is, I think, a major factor that has played in NDA leading today. So, what are your views on that?
I feel like even if it was a right decision, the claims made by Congress are pretty tactful. And NDA claims that the process was as transparent as possible, people were informed, everything was on paper, and everybody that should have been accountable was accountable. If you are claiming that, then we should see receipts. We should see the proof that the process was transparent and accountable.
But yeah, opposition is doing its work pretty well, I would say, because up till now, whatever has been provided to us on paper, on records by the opposition, checks out. And whereas the ruling government has not actually stated that they are right. So if someone's right, they do not try to hide it. If someone's wrong, they do.
Now, and this is a general question to all three of you. Bihar has shown a decrease in unemployment rates over the years, but there are very less people in numbers who still has the jobs in hand. So why is this contradiction? Like,
you need to understand unemployment numbers going down is also directly proportional to the people migrating.
Exactly.
yes,
If there are people of the working category not even in Bihar, how do you calculate that?
Yeah.
Secondly, one thing that you need to understand with the unemployment rate going down, the literacy rate of the state is also going down.
yes.
This is again equivalent to why employment is not generated. People are not literate, they're not qualified enough for jobs, and that's why all these numbers come up.
Then no leading party can say that unemployment rates are going down. Like, there's no way to hide that. Then the proof is right there. Even now, as people of Bihar who had migrated outside to work were coming back for Chhat Puja and to vote, in trains you can hear them saying that they feel like second-class citizens of their own state because they are having to go out to work. Just because they are having to leave their state to go out and work, they are not feeling like they are welcome in their own state, and they are being made to feel like the.
Thank you, Akshat. Coming back, I wanted to ask, now coming to Tejasvi Yadav, like if his party forms the government, he has promised one government job to each family. And Bihar is already lagging in the employment rate in India. So, what do you think? From where are these jobs going to come that he has promised?
Manifesto, the Mahagathbandhan manifesto, has promised jobs within 20 days of coming into power. Let me tell you, in this country, there is no government jobs or public sector, private sector jobs that can fulfill all the criteria and get done with 20 days of filings. Yeah, that's not possible.
You can't mobilize a populace that huge in 20 days.
Yeah, you're not talking about 300 people.
Exactly.
Where are you getting these jobs from also?
Exactly. How do you identify the people who need the job, are eligible for the job, and give them the said job they are eligible for within 20 days?
And now coming to vote chori, which the Congress claimed that there has been vote chori through SIR.
Yeah.
So, do they have any evidence to support such a
Such a drastic claim.
Yeah, such a drastic claim.
True.
There is always this factor in all of legislative assembly elections across our country that the party losing has some sort of blame game that starts, whether it be SIR rolls, whether it be EVM, whether it
That's a point to be noted no matter what the election is.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a national level, we all know, of course, that Rahul Gandhi has talked about vote chori extensively and has provided the proof for the same. Like a Brazilian model's photograph has been used for 20 plus user IDs, voter IDs, and she has no idea about this until now. And additionally so, to, provide some base to these claims, we've had journalists across the countries who have conducted actual ground reports and have found evidence that there are people who are marked as residents of these particular housing areas and houses. Either the houses don't exist, either these houses don't exist, or these people don't exist, or both. Like, for example, in Bangalore itself, there was a case where there was about 20 plus people recorded living in one house called house number 0. Neither did the house number 0 exist, neither did the people over there exist who were supposedly living in this house. But coming to Bihar also, like I had mentioned earlier when we were discussing, Reuters has reported instances of discrepancies which could be led towards vote chori, like a resident saying that she is declared dead. Yeah, so vote chori can mean anything. Vote chori can mean this also, that you are in this SIR process declaring people dead who are not dead, who are well and alive, and you have removed 47 lakh voters from the rolls. Saying that you are cleaning out the record since the last time it was done in 2003, and then you have people coming and saying that I'm well and alive, but they're saying I'm dead. That's also a form of vote chori. So you can't really assign vote chori as one thing which is creating new people. There's also removing people also. You can link this to that.
A better way to tally these numbers, a better way to conduct this survey could have been first conducting the long overdue population census, which has not been conducted since 2011. So, because of the coronavirus, it was postponed. It has yet not been done, and then here we are with the SIR survey. So, how about we do a survey of an overall population, like a gross population of on the national level, and then we pick apart the people who are eligible and not eligible.
How did you cut past a population census and go immediately to the SIR just along?
When the only relevant data you have is from 2011.
Yeah.
A whole pandemic has happened since then. You can't cut immediately to a voter roll and sit and remove 47 lakh people like that.
I have just one question for you all. And continuing on the lines of Congress, so Congress has done pretty well in the national elections and the Lok Sabha elections, but they have continued to lose states one after the other. So how does the bigger picture look now? Like,
because when you're on a national level, you are appealing to all kinds of masses. You are appealing to the 40% of that urban population and that 60% of the rural population. If you appeal rightly to that urban population, promising them social justice, social welfare of all kinds, with LGBTQ rights and everything, these are the problems that concern them.
Yeah.
But if you go with these problems to a rural populace where the primary sector is the leading sector, and you want to engage with the secondary and the tertiary sector, you cannot be making secondary priorities the promise and the main agenda.
Good point.
You need to alter your priorities and your necessities according to the necessities of the people that you are appealing
to.
to.
Who you are catering your propaganda to, your manifesto to.
So we would have loved to continue this discussion, but we will have to conclude now. So thanks for tuning in, and I would like to thank our panelists, Mr. Jyotirmay, Ms. Amanda, and Ms. Radhika, and also our data anchor, Mr. Akshat Jain, for giving us the live updates throughout the session. And thank you for tuning in. And we will know the results of the Bihar elections shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishabh.
Thank you.